In exactly 90 seconds, Dan Goldman will hit a wall built from his own recorded history. Don't just listen to his current excuse. Compare the cadence of his voice now to the recording we are about to play. The contradiction is not in his face. It is in the data. He thinks this is a routine inquiry. He is actually facing 6 direct quotes from December 2023 that make his current position mathematically impossible. You are about to witness the dismantling of a legacy by the most unforgiving prosecutor, a time-stamped transcript. We are looking at the moment where the claim of being a real prosecutor meets the cold, hard reality of 302s. These are not just papers. They are the forensic receipts of a system protecting itself. Listen closely to the shift in frequency. The moment the witness realizes the archive has already been indexed, the trap is set, the gate is closed, and the record is about to speak for itself. We begin with the baseline. The witness, Dan Goldman, sits behind the microphone with the confidence of a 10-year veteran of the Department of Justice. He is deploying the standard bureaucratic defense. He uses words like legally allowed and protective order as if they are shields. He expects the room to bow to his credentials. He is establishing a narrative of compliance, telling the committee and the public that his hands are tied by a higher judicial power. But forensic linguistics tells us a different story. His voice is steady, but his terminology is intentionally vague. He is painting a picture of a wall where there should be a window. He is betting that no one in the room knows the difference between a grand jury transcript and a 3-0 Taiwo witness interview. He is counting on the ignorance of the audience to mask the omission of the data. Enter the first receipt. Kash Patel reaches for a single sheet of paper. It is a transcript from the previous session. The archive reloads. Patel brings up the 302s. These are witness interviews. These are the raw records of what victims and witnesses said before the lawyers and the judges got involved. Goldman's previous stance was that everything was under seal, but Patel points to the date, December 14, 2023. On that day, the assertion was different. The hunter holds the document up. The weight of the paper is felt across the room. This is the first collision. If the 302s are not grand jury material, then the protective order Goldman keeps citing is a legal fiction. The archive does not lie. The words are there in black and white, waiting for the witness to explain why the rules changed between then and now. To understand the gravity of this moment, we must understand the scale of the data. We are talking about 300 gigabytes of digital evidence. To the average person, that is just a number. But in forensic terms, 300 gigabytes is a monolith of truth. Imagine 60,000 pages of single-space text. If you were to print these documents and stack them, they would reach the height of a 2-story building. This archive contains every timestamp, every digital signature, and every metadata tag associated with the Epstein investigation. When a public official says they are releasing as much as legally allowed, they are filtering a massive ocean of data through a very small straw. Forensic auditing requires us to look at what remains in the ocean. 300 gigabytes of witness statements represents thousands of hours of human testimony that is being held behind a wall of semantic pivots. This is not a clerical error. It is a data embargo. We move to the timeline trap, a methodical then versus now comparison. In 2023, the position was that transparency was the priority. By 2025, the position has shifted to procedural defense. Patel tracks the specific dates. He asks why the Department of Justice went to court to unseal grand jury records but ignored the 302s. This is the logical predator at work. He is closing the exits. He is showing that the decision to withhold certain records while releasing others is a conscious choice, not a legal requirement. The timeline shows a pattern of selective disclosure. The receipts prove that the witness knew the difference between these documents months ago. The current confusion is a calculated performance, but the time-stamped transcript acts as a cognitive anchor that prevents the witness from drifting away into excuses. Now we witness the battle of definitions. Goldman tries to redefine the word prosecutor. He uses it as a weapon of authority. "I was a real prosecutor," he says. This is a classic linguistic deflection. He is trying to change the subject from the data to his own resume. But in this room, definitions are governed by the archive. Patel does not let him redefine the terms of the engagement. He forces the conversation back to the definition of a protective order. In the world of forensic linguistics, this is known as a semantic pivot. When you cannot argue the facts, you argue the credentials. But the facts are contained in the 302s. A 30 Taiwo is a specific form with a specific legal status. By trying to lump them in with grand jury material, the witness is attempting to redefine the law itself to fit his current defensive posture. The hunter activates the inconsistency engine. He forces the witness into a yes or no corner. Is it your testimony that all of those witness statements are under a court order? This is the kill zone. If Goldman says yes, he is making a statement that can be checked against the public docket. If he says no, he admits he is withholding information voluntarily. The witness begins to loop. He repeats the phrase, "We are providing everything we can legally provide." This is a verbal tick. It is a sign of a logic circuit that has been overloaded. He cannot answer the question because the answer contradicts the narrative he established in segment 2. The engine is grinding the defense down. The repetitive nature of the questions is designed to exhaust the witness until the truth slips out through the cracks of his frustration. We must ask why. Why the shift in loyalty? The archive shows an activist of the past who is now a bureaucrat of the present. The hidden motive lies in the protection of the institution. When Goldman cites his 10 years of experience, he is not just citing his skills, he is citing his allegiance to the system that created the files. The shift from the quote in 2023 to the denial in 2025 identifies a change in the political weather. The witness is no longer seeking the truth, he is seeking to manage the fallout of the truth. Forensic linguistics identifies the change in tone from inquisitive to defensive. He is protecting the cover-up because he is now a part of the architecture that maintains it. The motive is survival. Procedural excuses fail the mathematical reality of the archive. The forensic weight of the missing documents is too heavy to ignore. When you have thousands of pages of victim testimony that are being categorized as legally restricted without a specific court order, the math does not add up. The witness is trying to balance a scale where one side is empty and the other is overflowing with undisclosed data. We look at the physical receipts. We look at the docket numbers. There is no record of a motion to seal the specific 302s in question. Therefore, the weight of the evidence suggests that the witness is creating a barrier where none exists in reality. The archive is a ledger, and the ledger is currently out of balance by several thousand%. This is the climax, the kill shot. Patel brings out the final, most damning transcript point. He reminds the witness that the Department of Justice already went to the court to unseal the grand jury records. He asks the final, devastating question. Why are you not going to the court like you did for the grand jury testimony to unseal those records? The room goes silent. This is the moment where the bureaucratic shield shatters. There is no legal answer that can satisfy this question. If you could unseal the most protected documents in the legal system, you could certainly unseal the witness interviews. The failure to do so is a confession of intent. The witness is caught in a trap of his own making. The kill shot is not a shout. It is a question that has only one logical conclusion. Watch the meltdown. The witness begins to stutter. He talks over the hunter. He tries to invoke the time limit, but then comes the silence. 23 seconds of dead air as the witness realizes he has no exit. His voice loses its prosecutorial edge. It becomes thin and defensive. He falls back on circular logic. He says he is not part of a cover-up while actively refusing to release the documents that would prove there is no cover-up. The linguistic markers of deception are everywhere. The long pauses, the repetition of the word patently, and the sudden shift to an emotional appeal about victims. This is the sound of a man who has run out of track. The data has caught up to him, and the verbal response is nothing more than the noise of a collapsing defense. The final charge is a summary of the betrayal of public trust. The record shows that the witness used his credentials to mislead the public about the availability of the Epstein files. He claimed a legal barrier that the archive proves did not exist. This is the ultimate forensic finding. It is not just a disagreement over policy. It is a documented instance of a public official using his office to hide the truth from the victims he claims to protect. The charge is clear. The record is the witness, the judge, and the jury. By withholding the 302s, the witness has placed himself on the side of the perpetrators. The forensic audit of his words reveals a total collapse of integrity. The digital reaction is instantaneous. Within minutes, the clip of the 23 seconds of silence goes viral. The institutional reaction is a desperate attempt to move the goalposts, but the data is already out. The transcript mismatch is being analyzed by millions. This is the fallout of the verbatim trap. Once the inconsistency is identified and amplified, the bureaucratic narrative loses its power. The public can see the receipts. They can read the 302s that were allegedly impossible to release. The institution is forced into a defensive crouch, and the witness finds his career defined not by his 10 years as a prosecutor, but by the 1 minute where he was caught in a lie. We compare the activist of the past to the bureaucrat of the present. In the past, this witness spoke of transparency as a moral imperative. In the present, he treats it as a legal nuisance. The legacy audit shows a complete inversion of values. Using data visualization, we can see the decline in the number of documents released over time. The archives prove that the witness has become the very thing he once fought against. He is a guardian of the secret, a protector of the monolith. The data shows that the more power he gained, the less information he shared. It is a mathematical proof of institutional capture. We close on a philosophical truth. The record is the only thing that remains. Faces fade, excuses are forgotten, and bureaucratic structures eventually crumble. But the time-stamped transcript is eternal. It is the only unforgiving prosecutor. In the end, Dan Goldman was not defeated by Kash Patel. He was defeated by his own words, preserved in the digital archive for all time. The verbatim trap is the ultimate tool of accountability because it does not rely on opinion. It relies on the cold, hard reality of what was said. The truth is not a feeling. It is a data point. And in this audit, the data point shows a total collapse of the truth. The archive is closed. The judgment is final.